Hi friends, it's your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, we're going to talk about Shadowdark, and we're going to talk about the core principle here is why is the OSR so dangerous? All right, okay. So it's Kelsey Dion, and let's dig into it. All right. So Kelsey Dion just announced their next Kickstarter, okay? Now, Kelsey Dion is the creator of Shadowdark. Shadowdark is the number one game, he's the number one competitor to Dungeons & Dragons in the world right now. Actually, it might very well might be. Well, I don't think it's there by sales numbers, right? What Shadowdark has done that no other OSR game has ever done is capture the zeitgeist and the passion, right? And make people excited about the OSR. That's what's really, and the reason why I'm saying this is I saw this at PAX Unplugged with 50,000 people, and I saw this at Philadelphia Area Gaming Expo a month later with close to 2,000 people, right? Like super, two different places, but Shadowdark was all over these things, and Shadowdark was what people were most excited about. Okay. So how is OSR dangerous? Well, Kelsey Dion is a real special person, right? But because she started with the OSR, everything in the OSR is copy energy. Hey, let's copy Dungeons & Dragons again. Oh, I got a good idea. Let's copy Dungeons & Dragons again. White box this time. Oh, let's copy Dungeons & Dragons again. What this time? Red box. Oh, let's copy Dungeons & Dragons. What are we going to copy? The zines they put out in the 80s. Oh, you know what? I got a good idea. What's your idea? Let's copy Dungeons & Dragons again. 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 Let's copy Dungeons & Dragons. It's all the OSR is, right? Now, why is that not okay, right? Well, first of all, you ridiculous fool. Why do you keep saying the point of Dungeons & Dragons is to have fun? That's not the point, right? And this is where we land, right? So what has happened with Kelsey Dion, right? So she's going for her next Kickstarter. You know what it is? 5 more zines called Cursed Scrolls. Copies of jank, ridiculous, not even real magazines produced in the 80s and a little bit in the 90s. Oh, dude, they look like Morkborg. It looked like somebody scrolled them out in a junior high with a Sharpie. It's going to be so cool. No, it won't. It's ridiculous, useless copy energy, right? Now, why is that not okay? Because Kelsey Dion is more than that. She's more than that, right? Like, this is the kicker. You want to see the Dungeons & Dragons killer? You're looking at it. It's Shadowdark. It's Shadowdark. It's Shadowdark. It's Shadowdark. Okay? Why isn't it killing Dungeons & Dragons? Because Kelsey can't see what she is. Okay? She built something unique and special. It has the passion. It has the momentum. It has the fire right now. Right? Dungeons & Dragons has that too. But no other OSR or indie has anything like Shadowdark right now. Its momentum is tremendous. But Kelsey is making every single mistake Gary made. I'm the creative and I'm the commercial. Yeah, well, you can't print your book, right? It goes out of print frequently, right? I've literally never seen it on a shelf. I've been to conventions and I've been to multiple FLGSs in Philadelphia, where we have lots of extremely well-stocked FLGSs. Literally never seen it on the shelf, right? It doesn't exist on the shelves. Dungeons & Dragons is on Target's shelves. Do you understand that? Right? Like, it's different, right? So the issue is, like, she should be like, okay, we need a 250,000 print run of Shadowdark right now, right? Or, hey, Shadow Bright. Let's do Shadowdark in color. Let's, and really saying, hey, I'm going to go for the throat on Dungeons & Dragons, right? Like, I'm going to go for the virtual throat on Dungeons & Dragons. And this is the kicker, right? This is the kicker. And the thing is, she's never doing it. She's never taking the next step. She's going to conventions, running her little game, and congratulating others running her little game, rather than graduating and saying, I am the D&D killer queen. I'm going to take this to the moon. I'm going to recognize what I've created. Now, why is she special? Well, here you go, right? In Hollywood, they talk about a triple threat. She's a triple threat, right? In Hollywood, you can sing, you can dance, you can act, right? What is a triple threat in tabletop role-playing games? You could think, you could create, right? And, and you don't have a face for radio. There you go. That's Kelsey. Now, you're like, why does that last part matter? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. But the reality is, who do you want to hear talk about OSR? Do you want to hear about it from another dumpy middle-aged white man? The 1,000th time? I don't think so, right? And that's just it. She's not that. She's not what you see every time you hear about the OSR. And people get excited, right? That a young woman is talking about the OSR. That wouldn't be enough if she couldn't think on her feet and if she didn't actually create, but she did. She's the only triple threat outside of Dungeons & Dragons. She's the only one that exists, right? Harmony Ginger may get there someday. Kelsey's there now, right? And so the OSR is dangerous because it never lets her escape. It always keeps her in copy energy mode. Oh, let's do another. Oh, you know what would be a great idea? What if we copy Dungeons & Dragons? Yeah, okay, that playtime's over, right? Like, the OSR is dangerous because it belittles people who connect themselves to it. And it never lets them escape, right? And so that's why, in my humble opinion, OSR needs to go. I don't think it's so. It needs to. What do we do with the OSR? Well, first of all, the worst thing that's happened with it is the BroSR, right? And then, I don't know, maybe give the whole thing to Ben from Questing Beast, and because she needs to realize who she is. Under the OSR, I don't think she can do that, and that makes the OSR dangerous, in my humble opinion. I don't want the OSR destroyed. I don't want it gone, right? But I definitely want it put on a shelf. I want it put on a shelf, right? And we can remember it. I don't think it should be active anymore. I really don't. It should be like the tiniest back room of the TTRPG area, right? And Shadowdark has made it really push its nose forward, right? But this copy energy junk is destroying great creators, in my humble opinion, virtually destroying great creators. And to see Kelsey Dion, a woman who could topple Dungeons & Dragons, working on zines. Good Lord. And if you're like, oh, Scott, no, she knows what she's doing. Dude, by her own blog, you know what she did for like the last year more than anything else? Worked on a solo version of Shadowdark, while you couldn't find her book in print. That is the largest waste of time I've ever heard in my life. OSR is dangerous. It really needs to get fixed, in my humble opinion. Every single word you heard in this video is my humble opinion. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider like and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.